A man went to a Sufi master and said, "My life keeps falling apart. Every path I choose breaks." The Sufi gave him a lamp and said, "Follow its reflection in the river tonight." The man tried. The light kept moving. The water kept shifting. He couldn't walk straight. Frustrated, he came back. "I couldn't follow it." The Sufi looked at him and said, "You were chasing a reflection, not the light." Silence. Then it hit him. "And now, listen carefully. How many times did you chase something that looked right, but kept changing? How many times did your path collapse? Right when you felt close, you thought your life was unstable, but maybe you were just following reflections, and Allah kept breaking your path so you wouldn't build your life on what was never real. That's why your life feels different, not because you're lost, because you're being guided away from illusions. When your life refuses to follow a straight line, Allah is pulling you away from a destiny that looked right but would have quietly destroyed you. It begins so quietly, you almost ignore it. You make a plan. You feel confident about it. For a moment, everything seems aligned. Then something small shifts. A delay you didn't expect. A response that never comes. An opportunity that fades without explanation. You try to adjust. You tell yourself it's temporary. You push a little harder. You try another way. And again, something moves out of place. Not enough to break everything, just enough to disturb your certainty. So you keep trying to fix it. You think maybe you're not doing enough. Maybe you're missing something. Maybe if you try harder, it will finally stay steady. But it never fully does. And late at night, when there are no distractions left, that quiet question returns. Why does my life never stay on track? You compare yourself to others. They seem to move forward in straight lines. Their plans connect. Their paths make sense. While yours keeps bending, shifting, changing direction. And part of you starts to feel behind. But what you're seeing is only the surface, because a straight path only works when the destination is meant for you. Some destinations look perfect. They promise stability, recognition, a sense of arrival. But hidden inside them are things you cannot see yet. Pressure that would drain you. Environments that would slowly reshape you. A life that would require you to compromise parts of yourself you were never meant to lose. You were walking towards something that felt right. But Allah saw the full picture. Not just where it would take you, but what it would turn you into. So instead of allowing you to continue smoothly, your direction kept getting interrupted, not once, but repeatedly, and each interruption felt frustrating, because from your view, it looked like things were falling apart. But from a higher view, something else was happening. You were being redirected. Protected from settling into something that would have looked successful on the outside, while quietly exhausting you on the inside. This is why your path feels unstable, because every time you move too close to something that isn't meant for your soul, you are gently pulled away, sometimes through delay, sometimes through loss, sometimes through confusion. And even though it feels uncomfortable, there is mercy hidden in that discomfort, because being allowed to reach everything you want without interruption can be more dangerous than being stopped. So your life doesn't follow a straight line, because your destination is not something ordinary. Your path is being shaped carefully, step by step, turn by turn, even when you don't understand it. And one day, when you look back at every moment that didn't go as planned, you won't see chaos. You will see protection. You will see how every shift, every delay, every closed door was quietly guiding you away from a life that would have taken more from you than it ever gave. When you feel like you don't belong anywhere, Allah is protecting your heart from attaching to places that would have changed who you are meant to become. It begins as a feeling you can't fully explain. You sit with people, and you smile. You speak, and you respond. From the outside, everything looks normal. But inside, something stays distant. There's a quiet gap between you and the moment. A small space that never fully closes. You notice it in conversations. They speak about things that excite them, but your heart doesn't move the same way. You try to connect. You try to feel what they feel, but something inside you holds back. So you start questioning yourself. Why do I feel different? Why can't I just be like everyone else? And slowly, that question turns into doubt. But what you're experiencing is not a flaw. It's a form of protection, because belonging is powerful. When you truly belong somewhere, you absorb it. Its habits become yours. Its priorities shape your thinking. Its direction slowly becomes your own. And not every environment is meant to shape you. Some places would have pulled you away from your real path. Not loudly, but gradually, until one day, you would no longer recognize who you've become. So, instead of letting you attach too deeply, Allah places a quiet barrier in your heart. You stay present, but something keeps you aware. You stay connected, but you don't lose yourself. You participate, but you don't dissolve into it. And that distance feels like loneliness, because humans are created to seek connection. So when connection feels incomplete, it can feel like something is missing. But nothing is missing. Something is being preserved. There is a part of you that is still being formed, a depth that is still growing. And that depth cannot develop in environments that require you to shrink yourself to fit in. So your heart resists. Not because you are broken, but because you are being guided away from becoming something you were never meant to be. And one day, you will find spaces where your presence feels natural, where your silence is understood, where your depth is not questioned. But until then, this feeling of not fully belonging is not rejection. It is preparation. Preparation for connections that align with who you are becoming, not who you were trying to be. When what once excited you starts feeling empty, Allah is removing your love for what can no longer grow with you. There was a time when certain things meant everything to you. You looked forward to them. You planned around them. They gave your days energy. You felt alive chasing them. But now, you return to those same things, and something feels different. The excitement is weaker. The satisfaction fades quickly. What once filled you now leaves you quiet. So you try to recreate the feeling. You go back again. You give it another chance. But the connection isn't the same. And this is where confusion begins. Because you don't understand why something that once meant so much now feels so empty. You start to wonder, did I lose my passion? Did something inside me change? Yes, something did change, but not in a negative way, in a necessary way. Because the things you once loved were connected to who you were at that time. They matched your level of understanding, your stage of growth, your emotional needs. But you are not standing in that same place anymore. You have seen more, felt more, understood more, and your heart cannot stay attached to what no longer matches your depth. So the attachment begins to fade, not all at once, but slowly, so slowly. You almost don't notice it happening. You just feel it, that quiet loss of interest, that lack of excitement, that subtle distance between you and what once mattered. And it can feel like loss, because something is leaving your life. But what's actually happening is refinement. Your heart is being redirected, gently, away from what can no longer grow with you, because if you stayed attached to those things, you would stop evolving. You would stay in a version of yourself that you have already outgrown. So the feeling changes, not to punish you, but to guide you, to move you towards something deeper, something more aligned with who you are becoming. And this is one of the most silent transformations a person can experience, because nothing around you may look different, but inside, your entire world is shifting. Your desires are being rewritten. Your priorities are being rearranged. Your direction is quietly changing. And once your heart fully lets go of what no longer serves it, you won't have to force your next step. You will naturally move toward what was always meant for you. When your life suddenly slows down without explanation, Allah is holding you back from arriving too early to a destiny you are not ready to carry. It happens in a way you don't expect. You were moving. You had momentum. Things were finally starting to come together. Then, everything slows. Not completely, just enough to feel heavy. Progress becomes inconsistent. Opportunities pause. Plans that once felt close start drifting away, and you find yourself waiting, without clear answers. At first, you try to push through it. You tell yourself, this is just a phase. You try harder. You look for new ways to restart the movement, but nothing responds the same way. And slowly, frustration begins to build, because you feel ready to move forward, ready to step into something bigger, ready to finally see results. And late at night, when the world is quiet, a thought returns again and again. Why is nothing moving for me? But what you're feeling is not neglect. It is containment, because movement is not always growth. Sometimes speed hides weakness. You can move fast while carrying impatience, confusion, unhealed habits. And if you reach a higher stage with those things still inside you, the pressure of that stage will expose them in ways that feel overwhelming. So before you arrive, you are slowed down, not to stop you, but to stabilize you. This is where unseen work begins. You start learning patience in ways you never had to before. You begin to face parts of yourself you once avoided. You start understanding things at a deeper level, and none of this feels exciting, because there is no visible progress, no clear reward, just stillness. But inside that stillness, something is being built. Strength that doesn't depend on outcomes, clarity that doesn't collapse under pressure, a mindset that can carry responsibility without breaking, because the next level of your life will demand more from you. More discipline, more awareness, more control over your reactions. And without this preparation, that level would crush you. So your life slows down, not as a punishment, but as a process, a quiet stage where everything you cannot see is being strengthened. And one day, the movement will return. But when it does, you won't just be moving faster. You will be moving as someone who can handle where they are going, and that changes everything. When people quietly distance themselves from you, Allah is clearing the noise so you can finally hear the direction you were missing. It doesn't happen all at once. It happens slowly, almost in a way you don't notice at first. Conversations become shorter, replies take longer, energy feels different. People who were once close start feeling distant, and there's no clear reason, no argument, no final moment, just a quiet shift. And that silence is what makes it harder, because you're left with questions. Did something change? Did I do something wrong? You replay moments in your mind. You look for answers that never fully come. And this is where it starts to hurt, because losing people without explanation creates a kind of confusion that is hard to resolve. But not every distance is a rejection. Some distance is a realignment. Because people influence you more than you realize. Their opinions shape your decisions. Their habits affect your direction. Their energy impacts your mindset. And when too many voices surround you, you begin to lose clarity. You start living based on expectations instead of purpose, without even noticing it. So sometimes, the noise has to be reduced, not loudly, but gradually, until the space around you becomes quieter. At first, that quiet feels uncomfortable, because you were used to constant interaction, constant input, constant presence. But as time passes, that quiet begins to change. You start noticing things you didn't see before. You begin thinking more clearly. You feel a sense of direction slowly returning, because clarity requires space, and space often comes through distance. So the people who step away are not always leaving you behind. Sometimes they are being moved aside, not because they are bad, but because they are not aligned with where you are being taken. Every person in your life serves a purpose. Some are there for a moment. Some are there for a phase. Few are meant to stay for the journey ahead. And when that purpose is complete, distance happens, even when it doesn't make sense. So instead of seeing it as loss, look at what it creates: silence. And inside that silence, you begin to hear something you were missing: your own thoughts, your own direction, your own awareness. And beyond that, a deeper sense of guidance, the kind that only becomes clear when everything else becomes quiet. So, what feels like people leaving may actually be space being created. Space for clarity, space for growth, space for you to move forward, without distractions that would have held you back. When your life feels completely different from everyone else, Allah is writing a path for you that cannot be copied, compared, or understood until it unfolds. It reaches a point where comparison starts to feel exhausting. You try to measure your life against others. Their progress looks clear, their milestones seem visible, their direction feels stable. And then you look at your own path, and it doesn't match. Your timing feels delayed. Your journey feels unpredictable. Your experiences don't line up with what you see around you. So a quiet discomfort settles in. You start asking yourself, am I falling behind? Why is my life not moving the same way? And the more you compare, the heavier that feeling becomes. Because comparison creates an illusion. It makes you believe that every path should look the same. But your path was never meant to follow a pattern. It was designed with intention, a different kind of intention, one that focuses less on visible progress and more on internal transformation. Because what Allah is building within you cannot always be seen from the outside. Patience that doesn't break under delay. Awareness that doesn't get lost in distraction. A depth that cannot be developed through comfort. And these things take time. They require experiences that don't always look like progress. Moments of confusion, periods of waiting, situations that don't make sense at first. But each of these moments is shaping you, quietly, in ways that are preparing you for something different, something that cannot be rushed, something that cannot be built by following the same steps as everyone else. So your life feels different, because it is not random, not disorganized, but carefully arranged. Every delay has a reason. Every detour has a purpose. Every moment that felt out of place was part of a design you couldn't fully see yet. And one day, when the pieces start to connect, you will realize something powerful. If your life had followed the same pattern as everyone else, you would have arrived somewhere ordinary. but your path was never meant to take you there. It was meant to take you somewhere deeper, somewhere that requires a different kind of journey. So, the difference you feel today is not a sign that something is wrong. It is a sign that something unique is being written, and it cannot be understood until it unfolds. When you feel a constant inner pull you can't explain, Allah is drawing you closer to a purpose your heart recognizes before your mind does. There is a feeling you don't talk about often because you don't fully understand it. It comes in quiet moments, when everything slows down, when distractions fade, when you are left alone with your thoughts. A subtle pull, not loud, not clear, but persistent. You try to ignore it. You focus on your routine. You distract yourself with what's familiar. But the feeling returns again and again, and you start to wonder, what is this feeling? Why do I feel like something is calling me, but I don't know what it is? This is not confusion. This is recognition, because your heart understands things before your mind can explain them. There is a purpose being written for you, a direction that is forming beneath the surface. And before it becomes clear externally, it begins as an internal pull, a sense that something more exists, a feeling that your life is meant for something deeper, a quiet awareness that you are being guided even when you can't see where. This feeling can be uncomfortable because it creates restlessness. You can't fully settle. You can't fully ignore it. You feel in between, not where you used to be, but not yet where you're going. And that space feels uncertain, but it is also sacred, because it is where transformation begins. You are being drawn towards something without being given the full picture, because if everything were clear, there would be no need for trust. So you are guided in a different way, through feeling, through intuition, through moments of clarity that come and go. And each time you listen to that pull, you move a little closer to where you are meant to be, even if you don't realize it. So don't ignore that feeling. Don't rush to silence it, because it is not there by accident. It is a sign that your life is not random. It is being directed, slowly, carefully, towards something your heart already recognizes, even if your mind is still trying to understand it. And one day, that feeling will make sense, not all at once, but enough for you to see that every moment of uncertainty was guiding you toward a purpose that was always there, waiting for you to arrive.